to nominate.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I second the nomination of David Cook as Speaker of the House. I first walked into this chamber, members, 32 years ago, and still believe my most important vote is that for Speaker. 3 friends of mine filed for Speaker: David, Ana Maria, Dustin. But the numbers being what they are, 88 Republicans, 62 Democrats, initially I supported Dustin. But as I learned more about the race and the candidates, I decided to vote for David Cook. Among other things, I looked at their time here in this chamber. I was willing to look past the things about each with which I did not agree. For example, Mr. Burrows and former Speaker Dennis Bonnen sitting in the Speaker's office trying to negotiate access, to allow access to someone if they would help them defeat Republicans and Democrats they did not like, and speaking candidly with disdain about many of you, something they both denied until they realized it had been recorded. In the end, it led to Dennis Bonnen having to retire from this chamber. But I moved past that. However, as this race began in earnest, I learned from firsthand witnesses, many of you, that it was Mr. Bonnen who was running Dustin's campaign, still running things. I'm sure he's watching now. Dennis, whose lobbying firm is appropriately and brazenly named Second Floor Strategies. I had hoped we could have a new beginning with Mr. Burrows, but that is clearly not the case, and you all know it. The more I learned about and thought about how only a few would be able to fully participate in a process and be a substantive part of the process, were we to continue with that regime, the more I knew that we must go in a new direction. I believe David Cook will take us in that new direction of allowing more of the members to be part of the process, Democrats and Republicans, not just those approved by the second floor strategist, where only a few are allowed into the room of influence and decision. I know that you want to be on the winning side. I've talked to so many of you, and I know that sometimes you fear that there will be repercussions if you are not. But we must move past those fears. We must be stronger than those fears. You know, I prayed a lot about my decision, and for me, prayers are very important. When you lose a child, as I lost my son Aaron 5 years ago, prayers are even more important in your life. I could not have continued to live were it not for prayers and my faith. So members, we must put fear aside and embrace our faith instead. We must put fear aside and put the people whom we represent ahead of those we fear. When I see the people up in this gallery, I may not agree with everything they believe, but I know that these people have something in common with the constituents in every one of our districts. They fill us with their hopes and dreams, and mostly they just ask that we not be afraid to represent them, even when it is not easy. We must move away from a house controlled by a select few. Mr. Cook is a consensus builder. You know that if you've worked with him, who believes we should all be a part of this process. I've spoken with so many of you about this race, and I know that a majority of you want a new direction, a new start, and a new beginning. And I say let that begin by doing with what your heart and your instincts tell you is the right thing. And there are some Democrats that want to sanction me or censure me. Well, let me tell you guys that are watching, one of the things with which I do not agree with my friend Dustin Burrows is the speech that he gave saying that even if every monument, Confederate monument, was taken down across the country, that they should stand in Texas because Texas is different. I don't agree with that. But boy, if Democrats come after me, well then Democrats, if you vote for Mr. Burrows, get ready, because now they come after you.
Mr.
But it's
Raymond,
not
your
about
time
party
has
politics,
expired.
it's about the future. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes the Honorable Lacey Hall.